Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, listening audience. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to update this Honorable House and the listening public on the exciting work that is progressing to transform public education in Bermuda. Mr. Speaker, dedicated teams of educators, business and community partners, parents, and young people are working on behalf of our country to ensure that each and every child in Bermuda succeeds in an education worth having. In my statement today, I will highlight progress being made in key areas of our reform agenda and provide clarity for members and the listening public about what they can expect to see, hear, and experience next. Mr. Speaker, let me begin with the work currently underway to bring the concept of parish primary schools to life. Our fundamental belief remains steadfast. Parish primary schools will create learning hubs in each parish that mobilize the strengths and assets of our communities in support of our schools and our young people. We have consistently made statements about what the community can expect from the transformation we are undergoing. Through research of best practice globally and consultation with communities across the island, we have developed a set of 10 principles that guide our work and that will feature in each parish primary school as they come online. Features that focus on putting learning, especially real-world learning, at the center of everything that we do. Features that position parish schools as the hub of their communities. Schools that will have meaningful partnerships with families and are places of collaboration and learning for all in the community. Ultimately, parish primary schools are focused on the outcomes of equity, cultural connection locally and globally. We are looking at creating schools that build legacies for years to come. But, Mr. Speaker, what does that really mean? On Tuesday night, I had the pleasure of standing beside Ms. Enid Ferbert-Jacobs, principal of Purvis Primary and co-lead of the Purvis Primary School Transformation Team, as she described to members of the work community what they could expect to be different from students entering P1 and P7 at Purvis Primary School in September of this year. Mr. Speaker, Principal Ferbert-Jacobs eloquently brought to life what culturally and globally connected means to the Warwick Parish community. It will come as no surprise that in today's classroom, our teachers encounter students who come from a variety of cultural and linguistic backgrounds. In response to the needs of these diverse learners in our island home, and to turn what might be perceived as cultural and linguistic barriers into opportunities and strengths, students entering P1 at the Purvis Primary School will have access to dual language learning. Mr. Speaker, Principal Ferbert-Jacobs continued to elaborate on what passion-led and real-world learning will mean to the Purvis Primary School. The Collaboratory is a design and technology-enabled makerspace where students are afforded greater agency over their learning. We are creating a 21st century learning environment where our learners will be able to undertake investigations in their own areas of interest, as well as to put their highly sought-after STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math-based mindsets and skills to work as they attempt to solve real-world problems. Mr. Speaker, Principal Ferbert-Jacobs continued to help us understand what being the hub of the community really means for Warwick Parish. Beginning in September 2023, Purvis Primary School will introduce the Cedar Room Cafe. The Cedar Room Cafe will be a vibrant community space, an opportunity for chat and choose with parents and community members, and a place for those accessing the school's wraparound services. These wraparound services will integrate services and resources that focus on the whole child and family. The Cedar Room Cafe will also be a learning space for students who want to be involved in running a cafe service. Students will learn about hospitality, develop entrepreneurial skills, and gain foundational experiences to help them successfully transition into hospitality and tourism signature learning track at senior school for those who wish to pursue that particular track. Mr. Speaker, these are but a few examples of the exciting work that we continue to test in advance of our commitment to parish primary schools. Examples that can be matched by innovative and impactful work underway at the Parish Primary School for Hamilton Parish, also scheduled to open in September 2023 at the Francis Patton primary site. I look forward to being able to share more details about that site in future statements to this House. Mr. Speaker, in my last statement regarding education reform in the House in September 2022, I remarked on the exciting new chapter of learning in our country, that students had just entered S1 at the beginning of the school year to embark on their journey in signature learning programs. We are pleased to see them embracing this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, students at Cedar Bridge Academy are engaged in STEM and Trades and Professions signature learning programs. Students at the Barclay Institute are engaged in health and social care and financial and insurance services signature learning programs. Each of these signatures have seen our students experience learning that is more personalized, flexible, relevant, and future-focused, inspiring, and authentically Bermudian than ever before. Learning that despite the inevitable teething problems, shows promise in putting us on the pathway towards achieving our long-term goal of opening up further study and career opportunities in priority sectors of Bermuda's economy and society. Mr. Speaker, transforming our senior schools will take us no less than 4 years from the moment we begin working on a site. While delivering our first year of signature learning programs, educators are now developing what is required for S2 and S3. Teams of teachers at both signature schools are focusing on redesigning the first two disciplines of the core curriculum, mathematics and science. Additionally, we will look at scaling a new model of advisory, which caters to the increasingly important area of social-emotional learning, while continuing to grow their competence and confidence in these new models of teaching, learning, and schooling. Mr. Speaker, we have much to celebrate. One area I would like to highlight is the learning partnerships that we have developed within the business community and with cultural and scientific partners across the island. Businesses and community organizations, large or small, play a crucial role in supporting senior schools and their students to succeed. Signature learning partnerships help senior schools bring to life the vision for learning and connect what happens in the classroom with the real world. Mr. Speaker, two specific learning partnerships worthy of note. The first is with the Bermuda Zoological Society. This partnership continues to strengthen with representatives from BZS engaging in the design, development, and now delivery of courses within the STEM signature learning program at Cedar Bridge Academy. Senior school students have the opportunity to learn from the best and brightest scientists in the region, applying knowledge in real-world learning experiences, such as field investigations on-site at the aquarium. Mr. Speaker, our learning partnerships also support our education workforce. Next week, more than 10 of our teachers from both senior schools and all 4 middle schools who are currently delivering or have potential to deliver learning within the Financial and Insurance Services Signature Learning Program will be engaged in high-quality professional learning to build their capabilities in insurance and international business practices in Bermuda. This industry-credentialed course is fully sponsored by ABIC, the Association of Bermuda International Companies, and will ensure our teachers are on the cutting edge of development in these crucial industries. Through the success of this partnership, teachers will be better equipped to provide instruction that prepares our students to be able to compete on a global level. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that you and members of the House and listening public will join me in thanking both BZS and ABIC for all of the learning partners that are actively investing in the future of our country and our children. While rightly beginning with what we have to celebrate, it would be misleading to say that we have had everything 100% right as we've moved forward with our first year of implementation. As the Italian philosopher Voltaire is commonly credited with saying, we must not let perfect be the enemy of the good. The philosophy has significant merit in education systems globally. The highest performing systems that nurture their students to achieve outstanding life and learning outcomes are intentionally designed as systems to learn as they develop. Mr. Speaker, this is what we are doing. We are learning in order to improve at each and every step of this phased and staged transformation process, which we knew right from the beginning will take us several years to complete. We will always look at what we are doing to improve our processes, how we can increase our efforts, and where possible, accelerate the work. With this approach to sustainable change in mind, we are currently utilizing everything that we have learned to date to develop a revised trajectory for the opening of all parish and signature schools and the phasing out of middle school. Essentially, the plan to complete the transformation of the public school system that the Bermuda public has been asking for. Mr. Speaker, this task involves clearly identifying the necessary trajectories to develop what is happening inside the building, development of the buildings themselves, and the movement of students and staff. This is a complex undertaking that's being led by the Education Reform Unit that will be completed in the coming weeks. Once in place, we will be able to provide parents, teachers, students, and the wider community with more details of future parish primary schools and when new signature schools will open and when some of our existing primary schools will close and our middle schools phased out completely. Mr. Speaker, as announced in November 2022, the Education Reform Unit, which resides in the Ministry of Education, reporting to the Office of the Minister of Education, has been established. A diverse group of experienced and skilled professionals from within and beyond education have joined the team to focus on our ambitious but critical agenda. Mr. Speaker, as the Premier and I have stated previously, the work of transforming outcomes for our children is not only unprecedented in education circles in Bermuda, but this level of whole system change is unprecedented in the public service in Bermuda. This is why the Education Reform Unit will continue to be supported by our globally recognized Education Change Partners Innovation Unit. The contract extension granted to Innovation Unit, a non-profit charity, appropriately reflects the work that they are undertaking to support this nationally significant work. Mr. Speaker, anyone involved in the process will tell you that this change has been built by us, for us, through engagement with teachers, students, parents, and business and community leaders. This government looks forward to continuing the work to reform our public school system, important work that will create the necessary opportunities for our children to follow their passion and interests, build on their talents and capabilities, and achieve their career and further aspirations. Mr. Speaker, you will continue to hear me say in this very House and in any forum that I can, Bermuda's children are Bermuda's future. We have committed to learning from our past in order to identify the best way to move forward in the interest of our children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.